Residents who live along the Maquoketa River in eastern Iowa have a lot of cleaning up to do.
I don't think anybody here can believe it happened. I lived here, went school all my life here and everything. Just nobody could believe that it was going over that dam. Saturday,
rising floodwaters from the river ate a 30-foot wide hole in the dam, and areas below it had to be evacuated.
No ordinary pileup. It was caused by a series of freak storms in southeastern France, which led to flash floods and widespread damage. The streets of Draguignan couldn't cope with the excess water, turning them into rivers of mud and debris.
Derrière la vitre, l'eau, en fait, il y a une vague qui a déboulé, qui est rentrée dans le dépôt.
We were behind the window. A wave crashed into the building, the water rose, the windows started to crackle. We decided we had to escape. A wave went inside the building. We ran outside and climbed onto lorries and cars to take refuge.
It came up high all the way up to the first floor.
Feeling that it's getting awfully hot already? Well, that's because large parts of India are presently in the midst of a heat wave. Let's hope it doesn't get worse in the months ahead.
It's just the beginning of summer, but the heat is simply unbearable. The scorching sun is leaving the country.
From a safe vantage point, witnesses caught on camera the moment the River Dragon burst its banks after heavy rain, sending a torrent of mud rushing through the Italian village of Atrani. The narrow streets channeled the water and mud with such force it pushed cars around as if they were toys. At least one person, a 25-year-old woman, is missing. She was swept away from the coffee bar where she was working.
Getting stronger in the Gulf of Mexico. It's now a major Category 3 hurricane with maximum sustained winds about 120 miles an hour. The Mexican government issued a hurricane warning for nearly 200 miles of coastline. Carl already has dumped torrential rains on the Yucatan Peninsula.
Coming out of northern Minnesota, a string of tornadoes has killed at least 2 people, and several city blocks in the town of Wadena were almost completely flattened. Heather Brown of our Minneapolis station WCCO is on the ground with the latest.
This was a widespread system that lasted for hours. It was a series of tornadoes that marched through Minnesota from the top of the state all the way down to the bottom.
It's moving her away.
This massive storm touched down south of Minneapolis near the Iowa border early last evening.
Wow.
Another twister, a few miles to the east, tore through the town of Keister.
The biggest tornado I've ever seen, ever. I've followed a few tornadoes. I've seen a few of them. Living in the Midwest my entire life, nothing ever to this extent. Such extreme decibel levels.
We're facing right now some of the worst flooding we have seen any of us in a long, long time. Worse than a couple of weeks ago. Potentially worse than 2005.
Residents from Maryland to Maine are watching rising rivers and creeks as rain continues to fall through the Northeast. A storm system that dumped at least an inch of rain in most parts Monday is expected to dump several more inches before slowly moving out to sea.
News 8 at 5 starts now.
Severe storms across our state this afternoon, some of them so strong that a state of emergency has been declared in Bridgeport. The governor is on her way there now to look at the damage. Take a look at these pictures sent in through our Report It feature on our website. You can see trees uprooted, power lines down, and a lot of buildings have some damage.
And Bridgeport, not the only area hard hit. Here's a picture from Stratford where you could see just how heavy that rain came down.
A trail of destruction in Taiwan. Deserted streets and high winds, a sign of the coming storm. Typhoon Fanapi making landfall on Sunday, the most severe storm to hit the island this year. The mid-scale Category 3 typhoon is expected to envelope the island before heading to mainland.
Strong winds and heavy rains are taking the place of the record heat, which has been baking central Russia since the middle of June. On Sunday, a hurricane hit northwestern regions of the country, uprooting trees and causing streets to flood. The storm swept through residential areas, overturning cars, damaging railways and electricity wires. Forecasters say the hurricane-level winds will hit Moscow within the next few days. There's little respite from the extreme weather, which has already endangered lives in Russia.
The sight of dead animals is now an alarmingly common feature of the Mongolian landscape. Mongolia is rugged and sparsely populated. More than a third of its 2.9 million people rely on herding for their livelihood. But a drought last summer, followed by an unusually cold winter, has killed more than 8 million animals.
goats, sheep, yaks, cows, horses, and camels. Nearly 20% of
In Nashville, Tennessee, this is what floodwaters are leaving behind. Cars tossed together like toys after more than 13 inches of rain falls here over the last 2 days. The Cumberland River is reaching its highest levels in decades, threatening downtown Nashville, a crest of 50 feet, some 10 feet above flood stage. A levee that is leaking is putting 500 residents in danger, along with 150 businesses.
Across several states in the Midwest, 48 tornadoes in all. One hit the town of Millbury, Ohio, near Toledo, especially hard. Authorities say a 4-year-old boy and his mother were among those.
Deadly situation here. They need to get over here quick. I can tell she's getting really tired.
After flooding killed 20 people in Poland, the country has been hit with a second wave of high water. In the southern part of the country, residents have been evacuated and many houses and farms have been damaged. In Warsaw, schools and a major road have been closed as flooding moves northward up the Vistula.
Now, just like many of us here in the north, Andhra Pradesh is in the middle of a really hot summer with temperatures registering above 40 degrees in most parts. While there was, meanwhile, relief for the people of Bangalore today with a welcome rain shower.
Sampath is a marketing executive who has to brave the summer heat to sell water purifiers to customers across Hyderabad. For most people like Sampath, complaining about the soaring mercury is not
so far officially. What we've heard from officials is that 33 people have died in the states of Alagoas and Pernambuco. That's in northeastern Brazil, but they fear that figure may get much higher. They also say that more than 1,000 people are missing in both states. In the state of Alagoas, some 500 people are unaccounted for in the town of União dos Palmares alone. So you can imagine what the situation is with people really very, very desperate to get help.